Hello and welcome back to another reaction. In this occasion, Mairimashita Iruma-kun, Season 2, Episode 7. Yes, last time we got to see the evil face of Iruma-kun. We get to see how it's affecting himself, how much he has changed, and how these changes are affecting the people surrounding him. And yes, we saw a lot of silliness from Sullivan and from opera, a kind of a scare opera if we analyze what we saw in the last episode. But the rest of the class is just saying, oh, okay, it's his evil face. It's understandable, let's not provoke him in case he becomes more dangerous. So, yes, it is an interesting sight to see, and again, as I said before, is one among my favorite arcs of the series so far. And I'm speaking obviously about the manga. And before you start booing, because yes, I must be getting tired, you must be getting tired of hearing me say, we compare it to the manga, but come on. This is one of the few mangas that I have been seeing, I've been actively seeing ahead of time because I didn't know there were going to be a new, or hell, I didn't know I was going to react to this series, honestly. So yes, that is why I am able to say, okay, if we compare it to the manga. But anyway, I am going way ahead of myself. So yes, this is a fascinating arc, and I don't know if we're going to finish in this episode or in the next one, because again, as I said before, it's a very short arc. It's not very long, and that is why it's very interesting, because again, it's not treated as this big adventure of this giant conflict between nations or anything like that. No, it's treated like, okay, let's change the classroom. This is a very important classroom, but it still is fascinating to see, because again, it's not treated as the over important arc. It's treated as it should be, not overly important, but not just diminishing like it's nothing. So that is what is fascinating about this arc, and many other things that I cannot speak about because again, spoilers. But anyway, yes, enough about this presentation. Let me just quickly remind you that if you enjoy the content of the channel, please consider a subscription and turn on notifications so you can get up to date with whatever we are doing with the channel. If you enjoy the video, please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment so I know what you think about my reaction, the episode, or the commentary once you see it. Remember that in the description we got a link for my Twitter in case you want to follow me, a link for the reaction because YouTube doesn't like reactions, and a link for the my Patreon, in which you can find the full uncut reaction of this episode and many more of other series, not just Iruma. But anyway, as I said before, enough about this. Let's cut the presentation short and watch the episode, shall we? Okay, I'm back. I just watched again several times the 7th episode of the series because, as I said a million times before, this is a series that is very close to my heart. I really love the series and I really love the manga, so that is why I am kind of obsessed with this series. It's a fascinating one, it's a very cute one, and there are several reasons for that, obviously. I cannot go and explain every single reason because, well, yeah, there is going to be spoilers, but I can give you a kind of reduced notion of why I love this series. Well, let's concentrate ourselves in this episode. First of all, yes, I did remember to put it on my notes. It's something that I want to speak since last episode, but I completely forgot, and I completely forgot to put it on my notes, so that is why I wasn't able to. But I didn't remember. But it's the difference between the change of personalities here. There is a reason behind of my dislike of the bastard that changed Ameri's reaction. Ameri's personality that we saw in the last arc. And as you remember, it was kind of saying, okay, yes, it's fun, it's funny, it's a comedic side, and it has his serious side, but it's nothing else than that. And obviously it's because of a guy, of kind of a pervert, that wanted to see a cutesy Ameri, and that is why it made a change. Why is this different as what we saw in this one? Because yes, obviously both transformation are completely opposite of what we are accustomed to see, but it kind of feels different in this case, even though they were made by different people other than the person that is affected. In the case of Ameri, it was made by a person that really just wants to see a cute Ameri, and in the case of Iruma is thanks to Alisa. Here is the difference, because it's not completely voluntarily what we saw in this transformation, but it's kind of a desire for Iruma to understand what is the evil cycle and what is the change of personality, because he has seen both. And Ali wanted to give that opportunity to experience that, to see for himself. This is actually something that is... Alice was looking for the benefit of Iruma, because he wanted to Iruma to have a better understanding of the evil cycle of the change of personality, and that is something, okay, Iruma wants to see this, let's show it in the best way, in a personal way. And what the other guy wanted was just to see another person the way he wanted to see them. In this case, he wanted to see a cutesy Ameri, and that is what he did. This did not benefit Ameri at all. It was obviously the opposite, but and it's a completely selfish reason behind that. So that is why the difference between how I am agreeing with this part, agreeing with this evil Iruma, and disagreeing with the cutesy Ameri. That is, at least that is my reason as to why I found this completely different, even though they are both change of personalities and not made by the person that is affected. The intent behind this spell. I hope I clarify that. I hope I explain myself. If not, well, let me know in the comments. Moving forward now specifically about this episode. Obviously, in the last one, we get to see the funny side of, oh yes, evil Iruma, how much he has changed, how much he is different from what we was before. And that is a funny part. That is an interesting part. And in this one, we start to see more how he's affecting everybody around him. And not just in the moment that he is going to be, but how it could possibly affect the entire school in the near future. And I am speaking about the grabbing of the royal one. So yes, that is the purpose of all of this. If they achieve that, of course, they are in a very good way to achieve that, thanks to the 36 signatures. Well, not signatures, seals of the teachers, because yes, it's more of the signature is more of a Western part of the civilization, but in Japan it's different. They use mostly seals to receive packages, to seal important documents, and all of that. It's the way they operate. But anyway, moving forward. Yes, this is how it's going to possibly be affected. Again, not just the immediate surrounding of Iruma, but in this case the rest of the school, because this is a big event if they achieve their goal, because they still have the hardest obstacle, in this case Kalego. Now, moving forward in this class, in this study of character, in this case of Iruma, there are still a few examples, and the best examples are coming in the next episode. But we can see that Iruma can be a little bit mean, but still he's showing love and appreciation to the people that support him. In a weird way, obviously, it's not as cutesy as Iruma was, because yeah, Iruma was a very cute boy, but he still is showing the appreciation. With Sullivan and Opera, I would say, okay, I want to take a picture with you in your mean face, and instead of just rejecting him, say no or something like that, no, he take the picture himself and makes them happy. Not only that, what he said with the janitor, and he said, "Okay, help me just plant new plants, new flowers, and all of that." And even was like, "Okay, again, I'm a little bit busy." But in the end, Iruma went and helped them. That is again, even if Iruma can be a little bit more aggressive, the core of his personality is still there. He's still Iruma. He's still trying to help everybody that he can. And this is why I have such a hard time in the last episode, not this one, in the last week's episode, with the wording of the word, my territory, my classroom. Because again, this speaks about a highly egocentrical Iruma. But in the manga, again, sorry to be comparing so much with the manga, but in the manga said our classroom, our territory, and this is an important distinction because Iruma is not just doing this for himself. Of course, again, as I said in my last commentary, yes, that is partially true that he's doing for himself, but he's doing it for the rest of the class because he appreciates his classmates and friends. He appreciates them all, and he wants the better for them. Obviously, that includes him. He wants the better for himself, but he's not just doing that for a selfish reason. Not only that, but for the rest of the classmates that he has. And this is an important part, and that's why I was so peeved with the wording of the phrases that he used at the beginning of the last episode when they were trying to dispose of the trash, of the garbage near the classroom. That was so important for me for this reason alone, and this is part of the speech that we get to see in Ameri's office when Iruma went to visit Ameri. And yes, it's a funny scene because again, Ameri already knows that she loves Iruma. She already knows that. Iruma doesn't know that. Doesn't know if he reciprocates the feelings for Ameri. Sorry, it was kind of hard for me to say that word. But anyway, so he doesn't know that yet. And I say yet, it's not because that it's been portrayed in the manga and everybody knows that Ameri and Iruma loves each other and all of that. Yes, no. It's because of my freaking shipping mentality. Because I know Iruma loves Ameri because that is my OTP. That is why. So yeah, it's not canon, obviously. It's my deluded fantasies here. But come on. How can you not love Ameri, man? Anyway, moving on. And yes, it's a funny side. It's a funny part. But obviously, Iruma wanted to really give a good example and a good speech to Ameri. Because he actually believed that, yes, Ameri is a hard ass. Ameri is very serious, very objective person that say, okay, yes, I need to hear your reasoning behind that. And he's not going to say, oh, because I want it. No. He needed a good reason, or at least the reasoning behind Iruma. And probably this was needed. Probably Ameri was in full control of herself, even though she wanted to give immediately the letter of recommendation. She was holding back. And say, no, I am the president of the student council, the highest ranking demon in the entire world, because come on, the student council is the higher ranking position that you can have in the world of anime. And yes, obviously she wanted to be like that, but in the end that was a good reasoning behind, so that is why Ameri gave permission. And we don't only have one maiden in love in this episode. We have Momonoki Sensei. In this case, she is kind of in love with Kalego, and that is why they needed the Kalego diary so they can convince Momonoki Sensei. Obviously, she was always on the side of Kalego, and when he said no, she was going to say no because, yeah, there is a good reasoning behind, because even though she is in love, even though she really likes Kalego, I don't think it's just that. I think, okay, yes, the reasoning behind Kalego's reasoning is solid, so that's why I'm going to support him. So they needed to cheat a little bit, and yeah, it's a good cheat, honestly. It's a good cheat. And then we have the hard teachers, the one that Saburo attacked, but it was convinced by this act of forgiveness or humility. Not humiliation, because I don't think it's just humiliation. I think it's humility from Sabro. Now, the one I want to speak about by the end, because there is a little bit disappointing in that one, is the Lucky Teacher, that the game that they want to play. It's nothing against the game, it's obviously the same one as in the manga, and obviously the strategy of defeating this teacher was the same, and it was pretty cool when you read it or when you see it in the animation. But what disappoints me is, remember that I said that one of the best aspects of the manga is these kind of ecstasy phases, that when they really are acting like demons, when something amazing happened and they call to their demonic side, those expressions are simply amazing in the manga. That is the case. That is the point in which the episode kind of failed me, in my personal point of view. Because if we compare this, the anime, with this, the manga, I think I prefer the manga all the time. Because I think it's a better representation of what I am speaking about. And there are even better phases in the future that we see as this representation of these ecstasies of the demons when they are doing the stuff. There are better examples than this one. So that is the aspect of the episode that kind of disappointed me a little. The rest was cool. I really enjoyed it, but this one is kind of a letdown. I think they could have done a better job at animating that moment. I was really waiting for that one, because it's the first moment in which we see something like this. But anyway, nothing is perfect, but it's still a pretty good episode. But I think I really exhausted the topic of this one. I hope you enjoy it. And let me just quickly remind you to subscribe if you enjoy the content, and give me a thumbs up if you enjoy the video. Remember to leave a comment so I know what you think about the reaction, the episode, or the commentary. If you disagree, if you agree, let me know in the comments. And remember that in the description we have a link for my Twitter, in case you want to follow me, a link for the reaction, because let's remember, YouTube doesn't like reactions, and a link for my Patreon in case you want to see the full uncut reaction of this episode and many more of other series, not just this one. Anyway, I think I really exhausted the topic of this one. I hope you enjoy it, and I have nothing else to say, but thank you for your attention, and well, see you on the next one. Bye!
Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, give it a like so the algorithm from YouTube will help me out. And check my other videos, share them, and also why not subscribe to my channel and join this community. And as always, I want to thank you for your attention, your likes, and even your dislikes, your comments, which is something I always look forward to read. And yeah, once more, thanks, and see you on the next one.